What's happening, people? We're back again, back another show. We're going to be talking all things transfers and all things for the weekend. Some people have got breaks like us, which, do you know what? I'm absolutely so happy they're having a break this weekend. I've had enough of watching Arsenal lose, so we're going to have a break this weekend. Listen, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a lit show because we've got a lit panel. There's a lot of people. There's a couple might even jump on a bit later as well. Big up Dave from Luton, big up Dave from Forest, big up Connor from Everton, big up Emilio from Fulham, and big up Joe. Joe, you're back, bro. You're back.
Yeah,
how are you, man?
Premier League, big up Premier League club in waiting. That's what you need to be saying. I'm good, man.
Leeds falling apart again, and then all of a sudden now you're back up again, man. Like, what's going on?
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. We've got to watch out for them Saints, haven't we? Southampton at the minute. They're the one because Ipswich have fallen off the cliff. But yeah, I'm doing good, Danny. It's great to be on. It's great to see everyone as well. It's it's a nice bit of respite for some Leeds United and Championship content because it's rubbish. So yeah.
Nah, man, come on, man. You say that, but listen, you're absolutely flying, man. Your channel's going well, and it's always a pleasure to have you on, my friend. So always welcome, man. You know that. As for Ash and Liam as well, exactly the same. Leicester and Southampton from last year, and looks like, I mean, could all three come back up? That is a genuine question. Could all three of you come back up? I mean, Ipswich Town, I want them to go up because they're fairly local to me, but they just, I mean, to be fair, I say they're falling apart, but they shouldn't have really been up there anyway, in my opinion. I mean, it's unbelievable what the guy's done and how knowing anyone had them in second place to begin with. So Kieran McKenna, big up. But it's unbelievable league, man. Unbelievable league. Still some players, still some teams that are fighting in and around as well, to be fair. And it's going to be interesting for sure, man. But always a pleasure having you on. So I'm going to start with Emilio tonight because I watched the game last night and I thought, Fulham are going to do this again, at Anfield. What's happening? And maybe, Emilio, just maybe, if Dijk Reed puts that ball across, it could even be 2-0 and game over, bruv. But Liverpool ended up getting doing what they always do, let's be real. But I think you could be fairly proud of that performance, Emilio.
Very proud, very proud. Hello, guys. Good to see you all back and good to see Joe on the show again. Overall, I think this time last week I said if we're still in the tie into the second leg, I'll take it. The fact that we're still in the tie, very happy about that. Annoyed that we didn't get something out of the game. I actually thought we were strong. Tactically, I thought we outfought Liverpool at times. I thought, especially first half, they grew. We rode the storm in the first 15 minutes. Liverpool pressure, as you'd imagine. A lot of possession, but not really much cutting edge. We grew more confident into the game. We started passing the ball, knocking it about well, trying to play them on the break, catch them on the break. Van Dijk got a yellow card. I didn't like Pereira's antics there. That really annoyed me. I was messaging a few people offline. I don't appreciate that type of, antics on the pitch. We're all humans. I'd like to see a bit more professionalism. Put that aside. Van Dijk deserved a yellow card, but our player made a meal out of it. And to be honest, some of the decisions I don't think went our way that first half. We're on top. Great, looking to make chances. Van Dijk was lucky to still be on the pitch at halftime and should have got a second yellow card. That went unnoticed. You had all the biased Liverpool commentators all saying, Liverpool, surely they're going to find a way back in. Fulham leading 1-0 as if it's like the biggest surprise in the world. I thought, actually, we deserved that lead at halftime. We went in there 45 minutes away from a famous victory. And second half, you'd expect Liverpool to put a little pressure on there, but the floodgates started to open and I honestly started to believe that second goal was coming. And like I said, Dier Reed with a bit more composure, a bit more awareness, might have squared it. But I looked at it from a different angle and think, actually, it was probably easier to shoot than it was to square the ball. It sounds easy. It may say that sounds ridiculous, but you look at it from different angles, squaring it at the right pace and the way the player was coming, Pereira was coming in, that was actually a harder pass in practice. And this is a lot of the pundits and experts saying that, then actually taking the shot, the goalkeeper possibly parrying it into the Pereira's feet and maybe we get a second. But there were a few other moments there where we could have got a second. But I said to a few people, we're going to rue them. We're going to rue these misses. We're going to rue these chances that we're not punishing them for because they played 4-2-4 second half. Putting 4 men up front, but we were keeping them at bay. But the threat was always there. And I said, here we go again. They got the equaliser, and I said, They did exactly what they did last month. We were 3-2 up with 3-4 minutes to go. They won 4-3. Exactly the same thing. 1-0 became 2-1 within a few minutes. But look, I'm very proud of those boys. They've surprised everybody around the world, including many of our own fans and many of the pundits. But same old problem, Dave, Joe, Connor, Dave. Where's the credit? No focus about how well Fulham played yesterday. It's all about
true.
Haven't got, Darwin Núñez. Is he ever going to be clinical in front of goal? And where's the credit for these so-called smaller guys? We never get any of that. So I think we're going to Craven Cottage, still in the tie, which is what I wanted to achieve. We're going to make it bloody hard for them in 2 weeks' time. Trust me. They're not going to like to come there. Small ground, on the banks of the Thames, cold night. We're going to make it very difficult.
No Mo or Trent.
Yeah, exactly. Done with Trent as well. Unlucky he'll play. And I just don't think we get any recognition. We did get recognition last month when we knocked them very close to winning at Anfield. Same again last night. Where's the recognition and credit? None of us get that. It's just poor Liverpool this. Liverpool had an off day there. But overall, I would have taken the 1-0 deficit. But disappointing, it's not more that it's better. Better is that better outcome. But you could have argued Werner made a crucial save. Could be a turning point in the tie at the end of 3-1. But we had our moments to go 2-0 up in a semi-final against the best team in the country at the moment. But no recognition, no credit. Poor old Fulham. Lucky to be 1-0 up. Should have gone 2-0 up, but it's all Liverpool. So sorry if there's Liverpool fans watching this show and I'm ranting about them. I don't like Liverpool at the best of times, but no recognition whatsoever. So I'm proud of those boys, but disappointed we didn't come away with at least a draw there. We should have taken more from that game.
Yeah, I actually agree. I actually really agree. I feel like personally that Liverpool and I hate going to Anfield, man. I can't stand it.
Oh.
The worst ground to go to. You're never going to get anything either, Emilio.
Exactly.
Let's be real.
Exactly.
Like you're never going to. It's like Old Trafford of the old days. Like you're never going to get anything there. I thought that what I only saw the latter part of the game. That when that ball comes through you can see. I think it's Pereira in the box. He's going mad. He's like, oh, really? Like, come on, you've got... And I understand there's a rush to the head and the Cordova-Reid, who does well against Liverpool, by the way, doesn't he? I thought to myself, he's got to square that, man. I understand why he's had a shot, but you just got to make that 2-0, and then it's near on impossible, completely different game, and then it goes into the second leg, and you got a great choice of getting Middlesbrough in the final.
Exactly. And if that's the only criticism I have, and some of the people of Emma and Steve Reynolds are watching this show at the moment, I was messaging them at 60 minutes. Change it. Take Cordova-Reid. I said, take Bobby out. Bobby's love him to bits, works hard, plays in all different positions, can score, can defend. He was looking a little bit legged. Take him off, put Harry Wilson, more pace, stretch that Liverpool 4-2-4 formation. Marco Silva made those substitutions 10 minutes too late. In that 10 minutes, I was saying, we created a chance, didn't take it, the 2-0. They then score one, they scored a second. So Marco Silva, as much as you're proud of those boys as are we, you've got to take some criticism. You should have made those changes earlier, because I actually thought we had enough pace on that bench to stretch that 4-2-4 formation of Liverpool and take advantage of that. We had a few tired legs, but put Harry Wilson on with pace. He would have got potentially a penalty, would have taken on that defence. And that 15-minute spell when we're on top, where we knew our players were just playing just to the maximum potential, make that change and stretch Liverpool. I think we would have made, but Marco Silva, proud of the man. He's taken us to promotion, semi-final, cup, quarter-final of a cup, 10th place in the league. What more do we want? But, we can start to be a little bit critical when we see those moments. These don't happen every year in this club. You've got to seize those moments. And I think tactically, probably should have made a substitution 10 minutes earlier. And the evidence on the chats, I was messaging some of the guys yesterday, said, make that change now. But overall, proud of those boys. And, they've got every right to be pleased whether we go through or not. But we'll make it a bloody hard fight at Anfield, believe you me. They won't find it easy to come down there in 2 weeks' time.
Well, listen, it's got to be 2-0 or 3-1, Emilio, basically, within 90 minutes. I mean, you can take it to pens, obviously. Do you think Fulham have got it in the locker to do that? 2-0 or 3-1 against Liverpool? That's a big ask, man.
Big ask. A lot of games as well. We've got it's just games coming in thick and fast for all the teams at the moment. But if we could keep a couple of the players injury-free, I think we'll give them a chance. We've defied the odds over the past in some of these playoff finals. I remember Juventus in the last 6, probably my most famous victory. Well, 3-1 down in the Europa League last 16 in Turin. Went 1-0 down at Craven Cottage, 4-1 down, and then we won the tie 4-1 and got through, by, what was it, 5-4 on aggregate. In playoff semi-finals, we've gone from 1-0 down against Derby County to get 2-0 to go to the final. So there have been moments where in those big ties we can turn up, but it's going to be a big ask, right? I think we can keep it tight, frustrate them, take that early lead. And look, I don't know if you saw the statistics on the TV. This was the first time this season that we've fallen behind or gone ahead, and not won the game or not got a point out of the game. So normally when we get our noses in front, we're difficult to beat. But Liverpool the first team to do that this season to us. And Liverpool, the reverse. They don't often lose when they fall behind either. So it's, someone had to lose yesterday. But overall, we've got a chance. I'm not ruling. We've got a chance. We'll make it easy. And I'm just disappointed we didn't exploit Van Dijk's yellow card. I think with a bit more urgency, a little bit more, couple tactical changes in the second half. He should have got sent off first half and didn't. We should have hurt him more, frustrate him, and use that man advantage. But at the end of the day, all credit to Liverpool. They found a way to win, and there's a reason why they're top of the table.
Yeah, facts, man. Listen, I'm going to ask a question that doesn't actually involve any of our clubs, which is a bit of a random thing to do, but I'm going to go with it anyway because it's topical. Joe, I'm going to start with you, man. Virgil van Dijk. Do you think Jason Cundy was harsh to say he's an overrated player? Do you think it's fair? Do you think he's a fairly rated player? Or do you think that he's underrated? Because for me, when he's come out and said that he's only had a couple of good seasons, I actually think he's quality, man. And I think he's had a brilliant season. Maybe I don't put him in the best ever centre-half, but I certainly would recommend him for a top 5, maybe, discussion, debate. Where are you at, bro?
I didn't even know Jason Cundy had said that. He must have been on the disco biscuits or something because he's off his head saying that. I can't lie. Like, what's he on about? I genuinely, we know what there's for. He's a Chelsea fan as well. Obviously, he's come through at Chelsea as well. So there's a lot of that, linked to it as well. I genuinely didn't realise he'd said that. But you bang on, Dan. I think for me, putting, and I think even Everton fans, Man United fans, whoever, putting rivalries aside in 10 years' time when we're doing top 5, like you've mentioned, I definitely think he'll be in the list, definitely for sure. Because he's been elite, and without Van Dijk, Liverpool don't win what they do under Klopp. The signing of him and Alisson was just amazing. The way it turned their fortunes around, and then he's able to impart that sort of knowledge on the likes of Kanate, etc. So his impact at Liverpool Football Club was massive, but also it'll be felt after that as well. Do you know what I mean? Because these young lads that are coming through, the likes of Kwanzaa, etc., they'll all learn from Virgil as well. And I think he's the standard. Because Saliba, look how good Saliba is. We're all saying, but you're going to be comparing him to Van Dijk. If the centre back, he is the standard. So I think Jason Cundy's talking rubbish. Sure.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Connor, as a rival at Everton and Liverpool, it's going to be difficult for you to have to accept sometimes that Liverpool are top quality. But I do feel like there's never really many seasons that I look at and go, he's the best centre-half in the world. There weren't many times that I've done that. And we had done for a couple of seasons, to be fair, with Van Dijk, and said, this centre-back is world-class and everyone wants to be like him. And I think probably apart from Rio and Terry, who I think are not clear of Van Dijk, but for me were better, I think then you can have a conversation and throw Company, Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, those types of centre-halves into the mix with Van Dijk. I don't think that would be unfair to do. You can add Stam, Vidic, some of the others, but I think it's crazy for Jason Cundy to say that he's an overrated centre-back. He's like making out like he don't really get the hype. What's he all about? I thought that was madness, Connor.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are we talking top 5 Premier League or top 5 of all time? But obviously Prem. It's a bit mad. I think unless he means that he's not as good as Liverpool fans think he is, because he's good and he's definitely in the top 5, like you said. But as a rival fan, I don't know if he's as good as I've heard he is. We're talking top 1 from a lot of Liverpool fans. Top 1. What a bargain buy, even though is he the most expensive defender in Premier League history? I think he is. They talk about it like that. The season that they won the title in the COVID season, I think he was hyped a little bit, mentally. and he does make mistakes. And when he does, obviously, when you're that good, when you do, it gets highlighted. I'd say he's top 5, but from someone who watches and has to listen to Liverpool fans quite a lot, and I've got family who are, I don't know if he's as good as the hype is made out to be. And that's not knocking him. That's just saying the hype is incredibly high.
I think. Do you know what though? Can I just piggyback up though? And I hear it. Connor's agenda driven here, man. Connor's agenda driven here, 100%. 18-19, he wasn't dribbled past all season. This is in the Premier League. No, but this is in the Premier League, though, Connor. Like, we're talking the elite of the elite, and he wasn't dribbled past. People tried, he's like, nah, go on, Connor. Sorry, I'll wait.
I remember that, but I also remember it being a slightly false start. I remember Andre Gomez going past him in the derby, which, if that's, says a lot. So I'm not too sure I believe.
So the stats are lying. Connor's like, nah, Gomez
sure
did it.
The media jumps on stats and seems to be very selective on them. He's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. And I as much as I hate to say, I do credit Liverpool when they need it. I prefer watching them to City. I think they're more exciting to watch, which hurts to say, but I think they're a more exciting team. I think the hype that they have on certain players is mental. Like, we're talking, I think they think he's better than John Terry and Ferdinand, which then I think is a bit more debatable. But he's definitely top 5. He's 100% top 5.
I think both the things you've said there is fair. And the main thing is, you're right, Liverpool fans. I mean, I've got good friends that are Liverpool fans, but my word, you'd think they've literally going to walk their team into Premier League all times 11s. I mean, some of the stuff you hear. I mean, listen, we're quite bad as a fan base as well. We're trying to say that Saka is world class and Ødegaard's better than Zidane. I actually saw a tweet the other day that said who's better out of these two, Ødegaard, Zidane. I thought it was actually hilarious. But I'm all for backing your players, right? But when you get those kind of stats, it is mad. However, to come on a radio station and say, "Oh, this Van Dijk a little bit overrated," if you ask me, I'm like, "Come on, bro. I know what you're doing, but you're just going to make yourself look silly, in my opinion." Because I think he's been ridiculous for the last few years. And like you say, Joe, Brian Allison and Van Dijk, without those two, there's no way they're winning the title. I mean, they've already won one with them. Do you know what I mean? So without them, there's no way they're doing it, man. So I thought it was worth mentioning. So fair play.
I think he's past his best. I think I'll be honest with you. I think that Joe's right. I think he did peak 3 or 4 seasons ago when he was, came with a high reputation, but was immense. But last season, first game of the season, we drew 2-2 against Liverpool. Mitrovic gave him a bloody handful the whole game. Got the penalty early on. We scored a goal there. He made mistakes against us last month again. That's a credit to Fulham that we forced him. He made a mistake last night with our goal. So, look, he's making some mistakes, and he's probably classified as one of the best Liverpool defenders ever. He can't do no wrong from a Liverpool perspective. But you look at it as a neutral, he is making more mistakes now compared to 3 or 4 seasons ago. And he's probably getting away with that, because of who he is. But, I don't think he's as good as he was 3 or 4 years ago. I don't fear him anymore. If anything, last night goes to show he's not that good as maybe people think. He's not. Is he world class? Not 4 years ago, arguably. Yes. Now he's making mistakes. He's making mistakes. He's getting away with it.
The first goal last night, fair play. But I still think this season he's been the best centre half along with Saliba. I think those two in the Premier League have been phenomenal, to be fair. And there's other people that will sometimes don't get the mention perhaps that they deserve because they don't play for a top 5 club, like you were saying, Emilio. But I do think that Van Dijk has been great this season. And he was one that I looked at last year and thought, God, he's finished. I think he might be done. Like, his time's up. But he really has picked it up. Anyway, I don't want to go on about it all night. I just thought it was worth a mention. Dave Asprey, let's come to you, bro. Look, I don't know where I am with Forest again, man. They've lost me money. They've annoyed me. They've lost me even more money because they were in my ACCA. And then when you went 2-0 down against Blackpool, I thought to myself, let's put money on Nottingham Forest because they'll turn it round. No, draw. I'd rather have lost. Just stayed. Might as well just stayed 2-0 for all I could have cared at that time. No, of course I'm joking. Listen, you can still go through obviously against Blackpool, and I'm sure you will. I want to talk to you about transfers because transfers and Nottingham Forest go together like eggs and bacon, mate.
I wish they didn't.
35 players at one stage, then more players coming in. Nuno Santo linked with players. Bobby Firmino, I heard the other day, coming to Forest. Listen, I've no idea how true most of these rumours are, but all I will say is this. Nottingham Forest have surprised me every single window with who they've managed to get in. And I know some of them haven't really gone to that level, but I was like, Ibrahim Sangare, that's a good sign. And I know you were saying he hasn't really killed it yet, hasn't really done that well yet. But I looked at the signing and thought, that's a really good. I like this player. I've liked him for a while when he's at PSV and Toulouse. So I thought that's a good signing. You've done it previously with the Gibbs White one. You went and got Keylor Navas. So where you at, bro? Who you linked with now?
Well, I think we've got to be a bit careful with being linked with too many, because I think we're getting a judgment on our FFP on Monday. So, we have to. Connor's nodding in agreement because he's in the same basket.
Look at Dave. Dave's like, I hope they get points dropped.
Yeah, and apparently they've consulted Luton Town and Burnley and Sheffield United, and Everton and Forest are definitely going to get it. I think. I don't know. If that turns out to be the case, I should be very, very angry because somebody behind the scenes hasn't done their job. Extremely angry, because what's going on the field, certainly since Nuno came, and it's been actually pretty pleasant. Lost to Bournemouth, but I think, reverse a ridiculous sending off of Willy Bolly. And I think even Sam Davis, lovely fella Sam, he said to me at the time that the Bolly sending off was a nonsense, and I think we could have got a point from that. We then beat Newcastle away somehow, comfortably beat Manchester United because they were dreadful that day, and then they played Blackpool. So Blackpool on the form line are better than Manchester United at the moment. So it's difficult to know. I mean, on the field, I think it's pretty good. I mean, Sunday, a dreadful first half hour of just pedestrian, lack of ambition, lack of thrust, anything like that. The last hour, a siege. On another day, that what we created in that last hour, we could have won 7 or 8. But anyway, we go up to Bloomfield Road on next Wednesday night. The cold winds blowing in off the Irish Sea, and give it a go. But with regards to transfers, it just depends. I mean, I really don't know the ins and outs of this FFP business. I am nervous about it because, it's just such a soup to wade through, in terms of what they're going to do in the transfer market. Again, I'd like a goalkeeper. There was talk of there being talks with Keylor Navas, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we definitely need a goalkeeper because Turner and Vlachodimos just aren't good enough. I think if you could put Turner's handling with Vlachodimos's kicking, you'd actually have a goalkeeper. It might be, put them in the pods like in The Fly, and then merge the two of them together and actually get a decent goalkeeper. But separately, neither of them are good enough. A centre forward, I don't think Taiwo's too far away from coming back.
That'll be available. That'll be a massive.
And getting Taiwo back would be great because he's such a focal point. I mean, he kind of, when you guys were talking all very sensibly about Virgil, I kind of was thinking about what Taiwo did to Virgil at the end of last season. He gave Virgil a right going over. In fact, I saw Virgil against Forest twice last year, and he was distinctly average. And that's a player who I thought, kind of at his peak was Liverpool's answer to Vincent Kompany, who I actually personally think is the best centre half I've seen since Lloyd and Burns back in the 70s. So getting Taiwo would be back would be great. But Woody's kind of found a second wind in his career. He's going well. But the one name that I've seen mentioned with Forest in terms of a transfer is Tammy Abraham, and that would be interesting. But again,
I think he's criminally underrated. By the way, I think he's a very good player.
Yeah, I think he'd suit for his style. I think he'd enjoy sort of playing with Anthony Elanga and Callum and Morgan. Morgan's been fantastic. This last month, Morgan's been fantastic. He's out in the space of 5 days. Morg has utterly eclipsed Bruno Guimaraes on his own pitch, and done the same to Bruno Fernandes on our pitch. He's been magnificent. There was a bit in that Forest Manchester United game at our end of the ground where Morgan went. I think he flattened McTominay, and then he sorted out Varane, I think, or somebody like that. And he gets up and he's holding the ball and he's pointing to the referee, going, "I've just won the ball 3 times, right?" And there's a bit of argy-bargy in a kerfuffle. 2 or 3 minutes later, we're in front, and he gave the whole ground a lift. I think he's been magnificent, Morgan Gibbs-White. And I always say about that lad, he's got the amount of money that Forest paid for him tattooed on his forehead, and he thinks about it the whole time. He thinks they paid a lot of money for him. I need to honor the amount that was paid for me, and I love his honesty. He wants to be responsible. He wants to be the X Factor guy. And if we are to kind of clamber up this table, he's going to be the guy that takes.
The thing is, though, Dave, you say that right, and it was at the time. I was thinking, oh, Jesus, that's a hell of a lot of money. When you compare it now to what some of the other players are going for, ain't that bad now, because the market's blown up on mental. You've got the comparisons to some of the other players that you've seen go for, one of them being one of our players for 65 million, another one being Man United's players for 65 million. I'd rather have Morgan Gibbs-White than Havertz, and I'm sure Man United would rather have Gibbs-White than Mason Mount. So when you look
Anthony
at it,
or any of these,
or Anthony or any of them. So when you look at it, man, it's been money well spent, because you've always got to look at not how much you spent. You've got to look at what the player has brought to you, and he's lifted you 100%. He's one of your better players, so I don't think it's a bad signing at all.
No, absolutely not, Dan. We always kind of liked the idea, because he when he was playing for Sheffield United, he hurt us every game. We played them 4 times in our promotion season, home and away in the league, and then obviously in the semi-final, 2 legs. And Morgan was the best player on the field in both games, better than any Forest player. In all 4 games, he just stood out. And you kind of thought, I remember coming away every time thinking, I'd love that guy to be in a Garibaldi red. And I just love the lad, because he's really become club captain, because Worrell can't get in anymore. Yates is not a regular. Morgan's first name on the team sheet. Nuno's playing him in the middle, where Morgan says, right, give me all this responsibility. I love it. I tell you what, the other thing that's happened, he became a father about 3 months ago. And I think that's definitely helped him. It's given him a sense of, an even greater sense of responsibility. I think he's wonderful. He's my favourite player at the moment. And I just think he gets it. You know what I mean? He's just been brilliant. And there was all this talk about him and Nuno not having got on at Wolves previously, but that's water under the bridge, and any issues there have been dealt with. So, so we are a strange bunch. You say you got workers out. I'm close up, and I struggle to work us out. All I know is that we're better than we were a month ago. So maybe the Cooper sacking was probably the right thing to do. But again, I'll tell you at the end of the season, if we stay up at the end of the season and we're where we are now, which I think is 15th, then it was a good thing to do, But we've got a lot of work to do. I mean, Blackpool Wednesday night, be nice to win that, and then it's a trip to either West Ham or Bristol City, and then we play Brentford in a huge game a week on Saturday at tea time, and that's a kind of a relegation 6-pointer, because hey ho, lo and behold, Brentford are now in it where they didn't think they would be. Brentford are right in it. Brentford have a disadvantage to Nottingham Forest, Burnley, Luton, Everton, Sheffield United. Those teams were all mentally attuned to a relegation dogfight. Brentford have sleepwalked into one, and now they're in it. And
Ivan Toney, though, Dave. Ivan Toney.
Yeah, he'd be an Arsenal player before that game, though, won't he? You know what I mean?
Nah.
Well, I wish.
Is he match fit? Is he match fit, though? That's the thing. I mean, it's okay scoring a hat-trick for the under 12s or whatever he's done recently, but I just fancy us. I just fancy us to go there, and when I'm not one for saying Forest will do this, but I quite fancy. And then it's like, if we get through in the cup, and then we've got Arsenal at home. And we're at Arsenal at the moment. You could say the things you say about Forest, you could almost say about Arsenal, really. So it's difficult to know. But in terms of the transfer stuff, I'd like it to be more circumspect. But a striker and a goalkeeper and a winger, I'd really like Jack Clark from Sunderland. I think he's a smashing player, that lad. I think he'd be really good for us.
Where did I see him going? Is it West Ham he's linked with?
I don't think. I don't think he's. I don't think he's got the physicality, me, Dave. I think he's very good. Obviously, he came through at Leeds. We sold him to Spurs. Didn't work out at Spurs, and then he ended up at Stoke and somewhere else, and then obviously dropped out of League One, has made his way back up. But I just think he struggles. I think he'd struggle with the physicality of it. But he's a good player. He's a good player. No stress. But I'm not sure. Yeah, man, I think he's refused a contract as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. Can I ask the panel, does anyone feel like Forest will be in a relegation fight this season? Because I don't.
Yeah,
I don't, man. I really don't.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Dave's going to say yes, obviously, and so's Dave because he wants.
No, that's not fair. I think I would say yes because I hope there's not only one team to get in front of for us. You know, I'd like 3 or 4 there that we might catch up. But of the teams we've played this season, I think of the bottom ones that we have played, I think Nottingham Forest played really well against us. And, you know, they were unlucky, really, Dave. You know, we scored 2 last-minute goals, and then you had a goal ruled out for offside. And you found your form at the moment.
Yeah, I think, Dave, that game against you, for 70 minutes, I thought we were excellent. But for the last 20, we were really... In fact, Steve made some debatable substitutions, and Luton came on strong at the end, you know. But the last... You know, to win away at Newcastle and to do it in the way that we did was a real statement win for us. And then to beat Manchester United on the day that Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United, Everton, Brentford all got beat was huge for us. But, you know, we'll see when we come back after the break.
Well, I generally think you're going to pull away from it. I'm with you on the Brentford situation. At the beginning of the season, I would have said there'll be one that's always dragged in. There's always one that's dragged in.
Yeah,
and,
agree.
I hate to say it, but my son's girlfriend is a big Brentford fan. And I said to her, I can see you lot getting pulled back into this at some point. And, you know, so I just like the more that come down gives my team more of a chance to stay up. That's all I look at.
Don't count Chelsea out, Dave. Don't count Chelsea out.
And Brentford's game in hand is at the Etihad. Because it was the game that was meant to be played when City went off and won the World Championship. Okay. So, you know, Brentford have got a game in hand on Forest and some of the others.
I think to be honest with you, I think Brentford and Forest will both be fine. I really do. I do think they'll both be fine. And you know, the three that have come up are the ones that a lot of people are saying, and the 3 that is going to go down. There will be definitely a couple of other teams that float around. I just don't know that I see it to be Forest, but I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong.
Big game tomorrow night.
Go on.
Very big. Yeah, big game tomorrow night. This Burnley-Luton game tomorrow night. So belter.
Yeah, absolute belter. Well, that's where we're going to go next, Dave. Luton, I'm not going to lie, they also lost me some money in their acca. I thought you'd beat Bolton. Didn't happen, mate. And maybe you can tell us what went wrong or what that game was all about. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't see any of it. And also any transfer rumours you've got would be good. But yeah, tomorrow night, that's huge, man. Absolutely massive.
God. You talk about the magic of the FA Cup, don't we? All the time you hear it on the telly, the magic of the FA Cup. And this is the first time I've experienced the FA Cup as a Premier League team fan. And it wasn't magic at all for me. I genuinely wasn't. Because normally, forget Bolton Wanderers, right? Bolton Wanderers did what they had to do on the day. They weren't fantastic. They didn't create too much. Their fans were amazing. I can't remember our goalkeeper making a save, really. We just didn't put them to bed, and we could have put them to bed. But I stood there as a fan thinking, do I really want to win this game? Or do I want to win on Friday? Which it wouldn't have been Friday. It would have been Monday if we'd have won. And it just didn't feel, I didn't care. And that's a terrible thing to be at a football match. You didn't care whether we won the football tie or not in the FA Cup. And we're a Premier League team now. And I was thinking, because a couple of seasons ago, we weren't. We were League One and Championship. And we wanted that big Premier League fixture, didn't we? Now we don't need it at this. Well, we might need it next season, but we don't need it right now. And for me, it just lost it. And we should have beaten them. We should have scored. We should have had a definite 100% penalty. I don't know why we had VAR at the time. I don't know why VAR didn't give it. It was 100% penalty. And then you just think, oh God, there's another fixture we have to go to. We don't really need it. So for us, the draw was disastrous. With regards to the change of the fixture from Monday to Friday, we've got less time to prepare for it, and it's a big fixture, isn't it, at Burnley? I think for me, it's a must-not lose fixture, not a must-win. If we win 3 points, fantastic, but do not lose this game. We lost to them at home. We gave them a goal just after we equalised, but we took them to the wire, and I think I'm quite optimistic that we're going to do a good job up there. But if they win, it gives them a bit of an incentive, doesn't it? And then we've got Sheffield United in 3 weeks as well. So it is a big time to just put that little bit more of a gap between us and them. And if we don't do it, we might end up regretting it. And it's a difficult one. I don't know. I just don't know how we're going to perform. I suspect we're going to play to our strengths. Our strengths away from home against them is going to definitely be high press, on the break. The last time we went up there, they romped the league last season, and we went up there and we held them at 1-1. And there was, we could have won that game. We missed hundreds of chances. In my head, it was only about 3 or 4, but it felt like 100 of chances. And so this time the FA Cup. Sorry that lost your money, Dan, but there you go. It didn't feel right for me, and I'm disappointed we're not through. I think if it had been an easy win, who we got, Everton or Crystal Palace, and I'm just thinking, well, playing both of those this season, it doesn't matter to me. Are we going to win the FA Cup? I don't think so. So when we were in the lower divisions, you wanted a glamour tie. And we get a glamour tie every week because we're in the Premier League at the moment. I might be thinking differently, but it's more important for us to get a result against Burnley. And I think for me, I think we can do it, but I'm just pessimistic. And let's be fair, because a defeat would just really deflate how it's not. Yeah. I thought it's not season defining. I don't think it'll be season defining losing to Burnley. But it's important because we've got more time to get better at home and get our points from the home games. So it's not season defining if we don't win. However, if we do win, it's going to spur us on to that next level, to the Brentford, to Nottingham Forest, to whoever is above us at this moment in time. It gives a bit of thing. With regards to transfers, little to no rumours at the moment. I think we discussed last time. Was it Zambrano? Is his name? I'm going to check his name.
Yeah. Zambrano. Yeah. Oscar Zambrano,
yeah. Apparently, we put in a bid about 5.5 million for him, and it was his personal terms. He wanted to take 15% of the transfer or something like that, and his club didn't want him to do that. So at the moment, they're negotiating. But apart from that, nothing really to report on that front. But I know that Rob Edwards is quite good at recruiting. Let's look at what he did with Andros Townsend and Ross Barkley. So it wouldn't surprise me if we came out with someone you weren't quite expecting to come in. And I'm hoping they're as good as those two that he got out of the blue, really, for us. So I reckon it'll be more important in a week or so's time, William, a bit more. But
David De Gea still hasn't got a club, has he, Dave? Do you know what I mean? So you never know. He could come pull something like that.
Listen, I'll take
Dave?
Well, listen, not you, Dave.
I'd have him. Dave, I'd have him over our two.
But, it's just as a smaller club. Emilio said it earlier. As a smaller club, you don't get a lot of recognition for your achievements, true. And it's all like, oh, the big clubs must be rubbish or whatever else. And the same with transfers, really. When you look for your transfers and the window comes up, it's all focused on who the big clubs are going to sign. And then suddenly you get, little Luton has signed this person. And I reckon we might shock a couple of people and get a decent striker or another midfielder in. We could do another centre-half, if I'm honest. But
and your manager, Dave, is a massive lure, mate. He's such a good guy, Rob Edwards. You know what honestly, I mean? He could almost be the manager of the season now, this guy. What he's dealt with the Tom Lockie situation and everything else. He's a guy that players will want to go and play for, I think. All
the time I've spoken to him personally, and he's so nice. He's such a nice guy. All the ladies love him, obviously, and the feather in his cap clearly is that he came from Watford and got Luton promoted. So he's going to be a legend forever. But I think he's got us for the moment. He's got us. He won't be our manager forever. There's no way he's going to stay with us forever. He's going to move on at some point. But at the moment, he's our manager. And I reckon he's got that vision with his team behind him that he wants to say, I've kept Luton in the Premier League. That's what he wants to say. And if he does, it'll be an outstanding achievement, bigger achievement than getting
Well,
there.
mate, win this game, and listen, it's looking good for you. You know, away from Burnley by 7 points, a game in hand. Obviously, you're right up there with Everton, Brentford, Forest, and who I think isn't being mentioned at all, by the way, who I think will be in a relegation fight to carry on. Palace are looking really.
Where
bad.
are you, D? Where are you?
D? Where are you, D?
Is that why Joe was brought on tonight?
You know what D is? D's trying to find a new bloody basketball team. Do you remember last time he supports the Spurs? He's got in the darts now. He's in the darts now.
Dallas Mavericks, mate. That's who it is.
Hilarious, man. That was actually hilarious. Listen, big up Danny in the chat. Yes, I did back Leeds in the ACCA, and Leeds did let me down. But the other guys,
It's a bit of a conundrum for Leeds, really, because we progressed in the FA Cup, which we don't normally do, and the FA Cup final is the day after the playoffs, so we might have to play 2 games in 2 days. Do you know what I mean?
Tell you what, Joe, I hate to break it to you, Joe. I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right. I don't know. You never know, man. You never know with Leeds. Leeds good surprise. Before we do come to Leeds, I want to come to you, Connor, because Everton. I was hearing the other day they were talking about Everton. One of my mates was talking about Everton again, going, "Oh, they might be in trouble again, with this FFP stuff." No idea what that's all about. I guess that's all done and dusted now, is it? Do you know?
No, you find out on Monday. But to be fair, it's very creative reporting. Everton and Forest will find out on Monday, as will the rest of the Premier League. You'll all the clubs find out. It's just because we're the two that have been punished or are near to being punished. The headlines are making it seem like we're done for, and it's more like everyone finds out, and we might be done for. I don't know. It takes something special for us to mess it up twice, but I also don't have the confidence to say we're definitely safe with the way we're ran.
These rules, by the way, I tell you, because I wound up Pete in the chat earlier saying, "Oh, Peter, it looks like Newcastle are going to have to sell all their players because they're struggling now."
Yeah.
And it did come out genuinely that there's some problems with this. It's not called FFP; it's called something else. Tom just spoke about it on this channel.
Sustainability and profit, or something like that. SMP.
That's it.
Yeah.
Profit and sustainability, or finance and stability, something like that.
Yeah, P&S, man, it is P&S.
PNS, there we go.
Yeah.
What is it with all these acronyms and new things that come into football? Am I supposed to keep up? Listen, I find that amazing that Newcastle have now multi-billionaires as owners, and in their first window, they're now like struggling here. Might have to sell someone like Isak or Bruno Guimaraes. Like, what is going on here? Absolutely crazy. But these rules are.
Do you know why though, Dan? Because it's clubs like yours, mate, and I don't mean it to have a go, but it's about the elite one. It's the elite wanting to stay the elite. That's all it is. They want to make it a one-stop shop. The last time that happened was City, and they said, "You know what? We're not having this no more." Because you see it when they try to build this Super League and that, they want them clubs to stay at the top. They don't want to give the less. Because why can't, say if I became a multi-billionaire overnight, right? Why can't I put all my money into Leeds United if I want to? It's my money. Do you know what I mean? So if Newcastle, we might not agree with who they're owned by and all that sort of stuff, morality, but if they want to, throw their money up the wall, they should be allowed to do it, man. Like, I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. But for me, it's a case of keeping the rich rich and the poor poor, just like society, man. It's just like society, man.
Yeah. What's hilarious, Joe, is right. They've done all this like, we're trying to keep it fair play. We're trying to not make someone do exactly what you've just said. And then they'll go, right, Everton, naughty boys. Man City, you crack on. Everton, get your 10 points. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? These guys have done 115, apparently, alleged.
That's what makes me think we'll get done. We'll get it. Connor will get it. If they could get it, Dave or Emilio, they'd get it them as well. There's a definite elitist feeling. Do you know what I mean? I'm really worried about this.
15 people. Like, if 115 people said, or if someone said, Dan Potts is nicking loads of beer, 115 cases, I've probably nicked some beer in my life, haven't I? You know what I'm saying? 115, and they reckon, we're innocent till proven guilty. What is going on? This corrupt man. You can't tell me that these guys, and Everton, get them docked, get them 10 points off. Shocking. When it comes to Man City, we've got to investigate this. It's going to take years. It could be years and years. No, man. And then you Man City fans like LB, you're crying about, you can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. He knows deep down. He'll never admit it, but he knows deep down. Man City are corrupt. That's what he knows. Anyway, Connor, transfers, I guess, is off the market for you, or is there some? Are you going to sell Onana to Arsenal? Are you going to make some sales to try and do some business? What's happening? Talk to me, bro.
There are rumours, which is the glimmer of hope that I'm like, oh well, maybe the club are confident, and the club are. By the way, we've hired he's meant to be one of the best lawyers in the country.
We've done the same, Connor.
Yeah. I think we saw Forrest do it and thought, great idea.
Yeah.
We've now got someone who's really highly rated in UK law. I think he's second to the fellow who represented City, one of the fellows who represented City in the UEFA case. And I think we're now in case we do, we're going to fight. I think we're also going to try and fight for our initial 10 points back. So watch what happens with that. But transfers, I don't know. We were linked with Hannibal from United. He's obviously chose Seville in the end. We were linked with him, but I think there'll only be loan moves. Danjuma looks, I don't know, will he stay, will he go? He's a bit tough. He's put up an Instagram where it looks like he's on a private flight with his agent. So it looks like he might be going to Lyon, which opens, he's a good player, but it opens up a loan slot again for us. And I think that's what we'll be doing because we're also in the midst of a takeover. So I think it will be a loan slot freed up. And that's all we'll get in this season is this window is loans, if possible. And we do need them because Dwight McNeil looks like he's hurt quite badly after the Palace game, so he'll be out. But it's mainly with Everton, and it's similar to what everyone's been saying about when your club's not one of the top, as well as what they were saying about transfers. It's also if you have good players in any of our teams, it's who's going to come looking for the top from the top for them. Emilio will get it with Palhinha. He's linked with a move away nearly every window because it's Palhinha and he can't stay a little Fulham sort of vibes. So we've got Branthwaite and Onana, who every summer it's will they go? Will they go?
Branthwaite's going to be good, man.
Yeah.
He's good already. What I mean is his ceiling's good, man.
Real Madrid are linked with him, so
wow.
There's the summer sorted. Onana, I don't know. The longer it goes on, I hope not. But if we do, I hope we take you to the cleaners for him because we need the money clearly. So I hope we really.
50 million, they're saying. I spoke to Kev earlier. He reckons 50 million is good. He rates him. He thinks he's top quality. But I don't know. I've seen enough to know he's a good player. But whether he'll take Arsenal closer to the title, I don't know.
I don't think that'd be good for us. Apparently, Lille have got a 20% cut of his next transfer fee. So when you start taking that off, I don't think that's brilliant for us. I think
you've just got to keep going up. You've got to say we want 70, 80, something like that, haven't you? That's what you've got to do.
And he's got years on his contract, so we could. It's not like we're desperate to get rid of him. He's a good player. So I can see us really trying to play our ball for him. Unless FFP is really that tight that we're right, cut our losses quickly.
Yeah. Connor, can I ask you about 777, mate? Are you concerned? Because they're a bit of a shady outfit. The clubs are failing left, right and centre across Europe. Are you a little bit worried about what the future holds for Everton with them?
Yeah, I really don't want them. Apparently there's an American consortium hiding in the wings, hoping that 777 bail. I don't know if they're any better. They're just very mystery-esque about them. But they can't be any worse than 777. That Josh Wanda has been done for all sorts, and all the clubs are failing. They've got airlines trouble as well that came out. I think not Standard Liège, one of their other Genoa are going to be hit by the point production. They're missing tax bills. It's just. I think
some of the clubs have been relegated and all sorts, haven't they, man? It's not wherever they are. They're not good, are they? Yeah, it's not good.
No.
Time for Ryanair, Connor. Get Ryanair in, mate.
I think the owners sold to the first people that have come along, which is them. But I don't know. It's up to the Premier League now. They're the only ones left that can stop it with their fit ownership tests. If they greenlight it, then it looks like we're in for more trouble, more point deductions if we're still up here. If we get it with the second 10, I think unfortunately we're done. It'll leave us with 6 points.
Yeah, you'll be down, man. And Luton Dave will be going, woohoo! I mean, sorry.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that on air, but yeah, I was thinking that'd be so good. Yeah, sorry, Connor, but please, you need all that money from transfers to pay for those blooming lawyers, won't you?
Well, exactly. To be fair, Luton are the only...
Party in the Oak Road on Monday, I'll
Luton, to be fair, Luton might not need the points deduction. I think you're the only team, actually, the only team below us that I'm a bit worried about. Even your losses are decent results as well. They're not 3-0s. They're like 3-2s against good clubs.
2-1s, 1-0s.
I want them up, man. I want them to stay up. So
I want to stay up because I just want to stay on this show.
Mate, I'm still here.
I've been the same for 2 years, Gregory. I've been the same for 2 years because the doomsday scenario, Dave, is that me and you drop off, and this billionaire below us comes back, and he's a regular every week. You know what I mean?
Billionaire.
Don't be fooled. He's got money in the bank like you wouldn't believe him. He could buy Leeds. I'm telling you.
Give off me, you man. I wish.
Imagine Joe.
Got 2 pennies to rub together, man.
People would be well happy with that, man. I know people on your channel where you watch my content, they'd be loving it if you were the Leeds boss, man. I'll tell you that now. Leeds owner, Joe, Leeds owner. Mate. Him and Chris Moyles together.
Yeah, different views on Patrick Bamford. You shouldn't have missed it.
Big up, man. Listen, Emilio, I know you've not got long, so I wanted to ask you a quick question before I come to Joe and wrap up the show. Listen, you're in a position, right, where you've got a difficult FA Cup draw, a difficult Carabao, which we've just spoken about. But I think you're going to be safe in the league. So do you just go for one of the cups all out?
Let's say that. I thought we did that last night. I think we believed we could get something out of the game.
We got Newcastle, in the bloody cup.
That's a tough game, but home advantage. I was looking at the draw. 10 teams, 8 teams, 6 teams, 4 teams, 2 teams. Gary Mabbott got the other Newcastle first. Changed his hand. Number 8. Thank you very much. Home time. But look, it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday night. How are Newcastle fans meant to come and watch a game in London at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night? Come on, it's bloody ridiculous. But we've got the home advantage. We haven't had a good record against Newcastle in recent seasons, but we owe them a victory. We owe them, as a bit of a punishment for some of the poor performances against them. So, look, we've got Chelsea away in the league on Saturday lunchtime game. Liverpool in a couple of weeks. There's fixtures coming in thick and fast. Like I said, I'm happy that Luton, Forest, all these teams have been taken to replays in the FA Cup. There's an extra fixture, a bit of more congestion for those clubs as well. So that helps clubs like Fulham. I think we're safe. I'm not expecting many transfers in this window. I said it for a few times on this show in recent weeks. Won't be any panic buys. The manager's gone on record saying, look, there's not going to be any signings. There might be a few loan players being shipped out, get some experience. That might free up a couple of loan players coming in, but I'd be surprised if anyone comes in. Firmino, he's been linked with us. Could be a good asset for the rest of the season. But for me, it's consolidate, survival, invest in the summer, and push on. And I don't think why buy and pay over the odds in January unless you have to be honest with you. There are some good opportunities out there, but you don't want to come across as being desperate. I think we're still wafer thin, but pick up a few more victories in the league and we'll be safe. And like you said, Dan, cup run, I think we'll embrace it. We'll embrace Newcastle. We won't play a reserve team. We'll be playing full strength team. If we get knocked out against Liverpool 3 days before, there's still the FA Cup to play for against Newcastle. So look, prioritise it. I wanted some silverware. Always, like I said, I wanted to get to the semi-finals in this cup. We've done that. We'll give Liverpool a bit of a run for their money, and we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks. But Premier League, though, is still the name of the game. Stay in the division. If you ask me, survival or cup, it's got to be survival.
It's massively important, and you want success, but you got to be in that Premier League, man. It's a hard question, but I think you'll be fine, and I think you should go all out for it, man. I really do. So let's hope you do that. Big up, Emilio. I know you got to shoot off literally now, so I'll let you shoot off. But you're a legend, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
We'll see you next time, man.
Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.
Right. Lastly, to close the show, Joe, I've got to say, I'm disappointed, bro. I'll tell you why I'm disappointed.
Why?
I've watched you. You're one of my favorite content creators, man. Even though you're down in the championship, I think I don't watch you, but I watch your watch along sometimes. I watch your reactions to your goals, and I've seen you. Patrick Strauch will put a tapping in. Patrick Bamford puts in one of the best goals I've ever seen. It's like, oh my god! Oh wow! I thought you were going to go mental. The most shots I've ever seen you, my friend.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I guess it was more a case of shock and surprise, really, to be honest. That he did that, and yeah, I know I was disappointed in myself as well. But I'll tell you for why, and this is why a lot of the time I turn off the chat. I knew a goal was coming. So I couldn't be as as
they were ahead. So you knew what was happening.
Do you know what I mean? I knew a goal was coming.
No spontaneity.
Yeah, man, it was tough, But yeah, that's why the chat always have a goal. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. So I knew a goal was coming, but I didn't know who and how. And yeah, I to be honest, that's why I didn't get clipped up. Yeah, it was unreal, man. Puskas Award.
Is it ahead
the
of
mad thing is that. Yeah, mate, I told you before, right? Anyone can do that in midair, can't they? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Can you be in midair, chest it, bring it round, and bend it in the top bins? I would argue no. Do you know what I mean? So
Dave's gonna fall off his chair and have a heart attack in a minute. Come on, calm down. What are you getting?
Watch yourself. Watch yourself, Dave.
We shot a mischief, lads. There. I've heard me right on me, Jason Gundy. I'm sure that name's spelt wrong.
Do you know Archie Gray, young Archie Gray? I don't know if you've heard about him.
I hear good things, man.
Yeah, man. And the mad thing is, Patrick Bamford's done a podcast since, because he does a BBC podcast, and he said when they're celebrating, Archie Gray said to him, "This is a kid who's 17, who's on record as saying, I want to win the Ballon d'Or, I want to go to the Champions League with Leeds," all this sort of stuff. He's obviously from a great dynasty family as well. And when Patrick Bamford's celebrating, he's going to him, "It's the Puskas Award. You'll get the Puskas Award for that. That's a kid who's 17." And they've just scored. So he's like, I just think it's mad that he's got that in his brain at that. So it just shows you, man, he's going to be right up there. So hopefully
he play a number of positions, Joe.
He's a box-to-box midfielder, but he's been playing him at right back. He's been playing him at right back because we're short in that area. He was playing over Spence, for example. He's doing a good job there. He's doing a very good job there. And he's only 17, right? He's got a lot of growth yet to do. But eventually he'll end up in midfield. And like I say, he's a special talent, mate. His brother as well is coming through, who's a striker. And apparently he's even better. So let's watch this space. I'm looking forward to that.
Joe, is he Frank's boy or Eddie's boy?
Yeah, Frank's boy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
well, he's got good pedigree because Frank won a European Cup with us, didn't he? You know what I mean? Eddie, Dave Gregor will be with me. Eddie's one of the greatest wingers you'll ever see, mate. What a player Eddie Gray was.
Yeah. This is
players in and out. Then, Joe, what are you saying?
Well, we're apparently we're interested in Ryan Giles. We are interested in Ben Johnson at West Ham. So we want fullbacks. Obviously, you'll have seen the old. We sent Spence back. Obviously, we sent Spence back. We paid $1 million for him as well. It was weird. Like, obviously, there's question marks over Spence's attitude, and I think he's had one. I mean, Dave, you'll probably be able to tell me more, but he's only had really one good season, and that was at Forest. Outside of that, he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
And he's gone to Genoa now.
Quality.
Yeah, he's gone.
It was brilliant for us, but I think it was just the chemistry between him and Steve, and it just worked for that season.
Yeah,
and I think what happened was that we wanted him to stay. Everybody in the fan base wanted him to stay. I think Steve wanted him to stay, but he's a London boy. And I think he's from the Tottenham area. And I think it was the family thing. It was either the family thing or he got some tough advice, because you kind of think, you're going to Tottenham, are you going to get a game there? Not likely. You go in there under a manager who actually has publicly stated he doesn't want you. So he basically walked himself into a dead end in his career, and he doesn't seem to have got out of it,
Yeah, exactly. And the mad thing is, like, Spurs have just shipped him off to Genoa as part of the Radu deal. The centre back they've just brought him from Genoa.
Dragusin,
So I think that's where we'll go, mate. It's two fullbacks. We've been linked to Connor Roberts as well at Burnley. It'll only be loans for Leeds. I think it's more about keeping hold of our players. Somerville's linked to every club, left, right, and centre. for me is phenomenal. We've got Willie Gnonto's situation as well, which Everton, West Ham, they were all sniffing around before as well. So it's just about keeping on to our better players, really, and just hoping that maybe Southampton have peaked too soon, mate. I think they've gone quite early. You always get a team that goes on a run. They're undefeated in about 16 games, but I almost feel they've gone too early because they can't continue to win games. So hopefully Leeds United will bridge the gap and get top 2, because I don't want playoffs. Our record in the playoffs is absolutely shocking, and we will get beat in the playoffs. So
come on in. Prediction, automatical playoffs.
Second, we'll get second, yeah. It's only 7 points. I think we'll get second, yeah. I think the thing is, Farke's the best man for the job. He's done it, been there, you know, and he's won it twice. And if we don't go up, mate, we'll be looking at a 90-point season. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. I think it's the same with Leicester and Southampton as well. I think you'll end the season a bit like in League One. It was the same. You had Plymouth, Sheff Wednesday, and Ipswich. All ended up in like 100 and odd 90, and you know, Sheff Wednesday have to do the playoffs. So I think, if I'm being honest with you, the division's terrible. It's terrible, in my opinion. The standard is terrible, and that's not because we've been in the Premier League 3 seasons. When we were in there before under Bielsa, we had the likes of Brentford in there, you know what I mean, who were under Thomas Frank when they had the likes of Watkins, Ben Rama and stuff. So they were a top team. Obviously, Sheffield United under Chris Wilder at the time as well. Oh, yeah. Norwich under Farke. Leeds United under Bielsa. For me, it was a totally different league. We had Wolves one season as well with Nuno. So I just don't think the standard's right there. I think that's why you're seeing the 3 teams at the top. I don't think it's ever happened where the 3 that drop down all get promoted. I don't think it has ever happened since the Championship became a thing anyway. Not the League One before that, but since Championship, I don't think 3 relegated have then gone straight back up the following season. I might be wrong. No. But yeah, like I think we'll be all right, because I need that Premier League that content. I need that Premier League AdSense as well, so they better get there for me.
Yeah, man, 100%, bro. Listen, I've always thought you will go up. I never really doubted you would. I think Leicester have won the league, man. I think they look ridiculous, if I'm honest.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know you hate them, and I know you hate with Locks. Locks always gives you a banner, but I actually do think they will do it. And then for me, I wouldn't want to call it, you know. I think Leeds will go up, but I don't know if it'll be autos or playoff. I'm kind of praying that Ipswich do, because I think it'd be a great scenario for them to go up twice in 2 years. It'd just be phenomenal.
Great story.
Brilliant story. That's what I'm about, really. Southampton, I love Liam and I like Southampton, but I don't have to see him back in the Prem for me. And I've always said that I thought Leeds, and I said this to Dave as well, with Forest, are good for the Premier League. Like Forest and Leeds are massive clubs, and Ipswich, to be fair, are a big club. When you look at the history, I know they're a big club as well. So it'd be good for me to see them up. But yeah, I think Leeds will do it, man. I have to say, I do think they will. So, bro. Yeah, man. And then Joe, you actually be talking about coming to the Emirates and going to Goodison Park and going to the City Ground again, and hopefully go to Kenilworth Road, mate. You never know.
Yeah, I hope. All them other names outside of Kenilworth Road, and I'll be real here, and I don't mean this in any. I know Arsenal's got a little bit better over time, but in terms of atmosphere, the 3 here that have been in the Championship more recently, they dwarf anything that these big boys give us. And that's no disrespect, man. Places like Liverpool, I even say it's a myth, man. You'll never walk alone. It's not. But everyone goes to that Liverpool atmosphere. Liverpool atmosphere.
I'm going to blow a little bit of smoke back downwards and then hopefully up his Jack's seat by saying I went to Ellen Road in April last year when we lost 2-1 there. And we started really well, and then Leeds set about us. And Ellen Road was absolutely fantastic for atmosphere. You know, Goodison's another one. The Kenny, I can't wait to go. It's my birthday weekend at the Kenny, so I can't wait to go there. That's going to be great. But to me, the more old-fashioned grounds, like Joe says and he alludes to, they're the ones that garner this atmosphere. And the City Ground, that night against Manchester United was phenomenal, really. Goodison, I think, I love the away section at Goodison. I went there last year when we drew 1-1, and I was kind of looking up at the 3 stands around us. And you just kind of think, in a way, it's a shame they're going from Goodison to the new one, because Goodison has just got a feel of an old-fashioned Victorian fortress, but it's a great ground. Villa Park is the other one for me. I love Villa Park. I do.
Yeah, I think that's a great ground. That is
I just don't like these concrete bowls like the Riverside, St Mary's, the Stadium, and they're all kind of much of a muchness, and they're pretty bland, architecturally. You know what I mean? But give me the old-fashioned ones,
Mate, I went to Ellen Road Christmas 2021. I got bloody COVID because the away on the concourse on the away end at Leeds is absolutely
it's disgusting, isn't it? It's really bad, isn't it?
It's
bad.
It's like we're all
the
like
chip shop, outside with the longest queue. The chipping rate is brilliant.
Literally
they start queuing a week before the match.
But we won 5-1, and I remember everyone singing Bielsa's name, and I'm like, that's mad. Like, we've just beaten them 5-1, and they're singing Bielsa's name in unison, and I was like, Jesus, that's insane.
That game, mate. That game, genuinely, at half time, I went out and I knew I was thinking it's the beginning of the end, man. Like, we've been slapped up by Liverpool, Arsenal, then we had Spurs, and I just remember at half time thinking, oh no, he's gonna go soon. Do you know what I mean? And they sacked him, and the worst thing they ever did. We've had to listen to Jesse Marsh this morning. Did up front with Simon Jordan. Some of the tripe. Mate, some of the tripe that was coming out of his mouth, you would not believe. If you do get a spare half an hour, I've done a reaction to it on my channel, but that guy, man, like, what he talks, he lives in Cloud Cuckoo, man. Lives in Cloud Cuckoo.
Yeah, you didn't like him when he walked in, did you? To be fair, man.
I told them, and now, like, I just tell them, like, remember, I was right, you were wrong.
Sacking Bielsa was a mad thing, man. I understand. I knew you were getting trounced, but come on, man, look at what he did. But there we go, man. Yeah. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up there, people. Big up to all of you for coming on. Big up to Emilio as well, of course. Make sure you go follow Emilio at Teddy Nello and at the Cottage Talk. Make sure you go follow Dave Gregory on Twitter and Owen the Town Podcast as well. Make sure you follow Dave Asprey on socials. Go follow Colin Williams as well. His Twitter handle is down below. And Just Joe TV for all Championship content and, of course, Leeds content. If you have not seen it already, I had the torrid time with Tom Canton and Kevin Campbell earlier. Oh, my God. I was just ripping what I've got left of my hair out with those two. My God, the most positive Arsenal fans you'll ever see in your life. Unbelievable. Everything's rosy. It's all fine. Stop moaning, Dan. Nothing's wrong. Listen, I love Kevin Campbell, and he's one of my favourites, right? Let me tell you that. I absolutely love him, and obviously he'll be respected by both Connor and Dave on here more than many people. But my God, oh my word, he loves the Arsenal. What's happening at the Arsenal is fine. Stop moaning, it's fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, maybe he's right. Hopefully he's right. Anyway, and I'm wrong. Make sure you go check it out, people. The previous video to here. Make sure you go follow all of these guys. Go on, Joe.
I'm live straight after this, folks, doing a transfer roundup. So come on over if you can, please.
Absolutely.
And I'm watching a Cary Grant movie.
Listen, make sure you
builds his dream house.
make sure you stay tuned, people. It's going to redirect you to Joe's channel. We're out of here. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time. Take care, people. Peace.